Well, finally got outside, and I did get outside yesterday too, and I have shorts on today with no jacket, so it really is nice out. I encourage everybody to get outside if you can. I've had cabin fever the last few weeks, so it feels really nice to get some vitamin D on my skin here, and just to go for a nice walk in the park today. So what we're talking about as we do this, as we take this nice stroll on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, I want to talk about asymmetric bets. Asymmetric bets. Who is familiar with asymmetric bets? Leave your comment down below if you know what an asymmetric bet is. Now, if you don't know what they are, you know what an asymmetric bet is. It's basically a bet that has a lot of potential upside with very little downside risk. So I'll give you an example. If you guys are familiar, a lot of you probably are, with options trading, an out-of-the-money option. Let's say you buy an out-of-the-money option on GameStop. In fact, this is a perfect example. I'm going to make a video on GameStop later on, by the way. But GameStop, so remember in 2020 with the mania happening and everything, and GameStop went parabolic very quickly within just a few days. It had well over 10x. Now, somebody who buys a call option on GameStop with a $100 strike price, when the stock's at $20 per share, probably realizes that more than likely the option is going to expire worthless. And so let's say they put up $1,000 and they buy a certain number of options contracts for that $100 strike price. Well, a lot of people did this back in 2020, and they did it just at the right time. In fact, there's a lot of stories. Roaring Kitty, I think, was one of the guys who made like 30 million bucks doing this. And he only put up, I want to say 50,000 or something ridiculous. So like a $50,000 investment turning into 30 million within a matter of days or weeks. That's basically what happened. And I could be wrong on those numbers. I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know it was a perfect example of an asymmetric bet, buying those out of the money call options, because the worst case scenario for that is that your investment expires worthless. And if you only put up 500 or $1,000, you know, you're out that money. And, you know, you can look at it one of two ways. You could say, well, that's just gambling. You know, it's like going to the casino. I mean, yeah, you know, and you could argue that's I guess, an accurate representation. You could make that argument, but I would beg to differ. And the reason is because when you go to the casino, you don't really have much control. So when I go to a slot machine and I pull the lever, there's a fixed odd that cannot change. Like, the odds are rigged, right? By the casino, by whatever the people who run the casino. Even with like blackjack, you can have a little bit more strategy maybe. You know, you actually are making decisions, but still, I mean, the odds are not in your favor. With any house game, when you go to a casino, the house always wins. But, you know, you could make the same argument with the stock market. However, one thing I will say about the stock market and placing these asymmetric bets is that you actually do have a lot more control over your decision making. You not only have control over your decision making, but you also have control over the research you do. And so that's the beauty of it. You know, when I'm doing research on a company, I'm looking at all kinds of things. I'm looking at the balance sheet, the income statement, all the financials, but also the management team, the fundamentals itself of the business, like what are the growth drivers potentially, etc. And so when you're looking at this is a huge thing to consider, because unlike placing a bet on the the blackjack table or the slot machine at the casino, if you're placing an asymmetric bet that has a high probability of success, if you've done your research, then that asymmetric bet, even if it doesn't turn out, fair enough, but you're getting the odds as much in your favor as possible by doing as much research as possible. And, you know, I would encourage everybody, especially if you're in your 20s or early 30s even, to place asymmetric bets. You know, if you're in, I would say, like, you know, life is short, right? People always tell you, life is short. You're going to wake up one day and be 50, 60, 70. Cool. So why not take risk? You know, it's like when I'm on my deathbed, do I want to be one of those people who, you know, said to myself, I wish I could have done this, or I wish I would have taken this risk? I mean, that's one of the things I hear a lot of people say, is when they're on their deathbed, they wish they would have taken more chances. They wish they would have taken more risk. So I've always been somebody who, I like to take risk, and I'll always take risk. And I don't think that's ever going to stop for me, because I've experienced both sides of it. I've experienced the potential that can happen when you take a lot of risk, and I've also experienced the downside. And I feel like I've learned a lot in my 20s just from doing that. I actually just turned 30. But, you know, when you're placing these asymmetric bets, it's no different. You learn from experience. And I think so many people try to play it safe in the market because they're afraid of losing money. And fair enough. You know, I've made and I've lost a lot of money in the market. Right now, I'm kind of, I guess you could say, down on my luck compared to where I was a few years back. But that doesn't mean I give up. That doesn't mean I stop investing. What it does mean is that I do more research. I double down on whatever strategy works for me previously. And I can tell you, there are strategies that will allow you with these asymmetric bets, if you're placing them, to really, you know, put yourself in the best position possible for potential success if you're doing your research, right? So that's one of the things I would definitely say. But also, I mean, obviously it's based upon your risk tolerance and investing goals. Not everybody wants to place these asymmetric bets. Not everybody wants to have a, you know, unlimited upside potential, but then lose their entire investment. Not everybody wants that. And so that's why diversification is important, because you can do this across your portfolio. If you have 10 stocks that are safe and sound, you can take the 11th stock and play around with it. You don't have to be 100% safe all the time. You can play around with your portfolio. Now, if it's the only stock in your portfolio, then I would say I'd look at things and really consider if that's appropriate for, because I've done that. I've made that stupid decision. So now I'm learning, hey, I need to be more diversified, right? That was in my early 20s when I made those dumb decisions. But you live and you learn. And so you learn from experience, and then the skills that you learn on top of that help you out tremendously. So, you know, options trading is just one example of placing an asymmetric bet. Another example, you know, for example, people who bought Bitcoin back in the day, who, let's say they put $5,000 back in, I don't know, 2013, 2014, they were placing an asymmetric bet. They put $5,000 up, and let's say they let it sit there and it's still in Bitcoin. Well, they've probably done okay for themselves. You know, Bitcoin is under $1,000 back in 2013. Now it's what, 50,000, 50x, right? But somebody who did that, put $5,000 in, didn't think about it, and just let it sit. Now they're sitting on potentially what, a 50x, what was 100x, if they bought it under 1,000. So that's another example of an asymmetric bet. You know, buying in an early stage venture capital startup, you know, for people who, you know, nowadays a lot of people can get invested in these, you know, these early VC startup angel investor type funds where you put up a certain amount of money and then you can get potentially a very high return. But most startups fail, right? So that's another example of an asymmetric bet. And most out of the money options contracts expire worthless. Most cryptocurrencies go down quite dramatically, or they don't recover ever if they do. So it's like placing those bets is risky, definitely very risky. But what's your downside risk? Your investment. You can't lose any more than you invested. So that's the point I'm trying to make, guys. Take more risk if you can, especially if you're young, because I still love taking risk, and I always will, because I know that if you don't take risk, then you have no chance. You know, like the way to become lucky, and I think Alex Hormozy mentioned this, the way to become lucky is to keep playing the game. You know, to keep rolling the dice, to keep placing bets, to keep taking risk. And even when you're down on your luck, even when you feel like it's hopeless, you know, you build that capacity, you build the ability to keep going, you get stronger, and you learn from experience. And that's what I want to, so even if you do end up losing money, if you place an asymmetric bet and you lose money, remember, you can learn from it. You can always rebuild. And hopefully it's not your entire portfolio. Hopefully you have some other stocks that you're invested in. But I encourage you also, if you're comfortable with it, and obviously, you know, talk to a financial advisor if you feel like it's necessary, or a, you know, investment professional. But I do encourage you to take these risks because, like I said, by the time you reach your 40s, 50s, 60s, you're probably going to have to be more conservative, right? Because you're approaching what people call, you know, closer to retirement. You want to be definitely more conservative. So especially if you're young, I would encourage you to take as much risk as possible, as I've done, and I've lived and I've learned, and I continue to do so. But it's not the end of the world if you're 25 and you lose everything. Like happened to me, I was actually 26, but it's not the end of the world. And I didn't lose everything, but I was up big and I was down big because I placed that asymmetric bet. So, but the only way I was able to get up that much to the, you know, 7-figure portfolio that I had briefly, was because I placed the bet and I won and then I lost. But you know, you know how it goes. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. And anyway, thanks for making it to the end of this video. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you guys in the next one.